here in Idaho, and we're at Lifetree Natural Wellness Center, which is an inner city clinic mission outpost to the city. And we get all kinds of different issues here, chronic disease, anything could come through here. It's actually under the indigenous nation. And so we're able to do some things that typically you might not see in a wellness kind of environment center. We do all kinds of things here. We've got ozone therapy, vitamin C, intravenous therapy, hyperbaric chamber, massage, and of course upstairs. And hopefully tomorrow I can show you that aspect of it, because tomorrow, if you come back, I'm going to have a special treat for you. We have Dr. Mead, who's one of the directors here, and he wants to bring a few words at you tomorrow, and I'll take you upstairs and you can see the herbal farmery, which is amazing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Elena's here. We both love food and we both cook here. And so what we're going to do is a few things here. And I ask, honestly, for your patience, because our space is little. We have our camera on a tripod and we're kind of trying to juggle everything. So anyway, we're going to do the best that we can today. Why don't we have prayer before we get started? I always like to invite God and our Lord into our midst and to bless our efforts, and because we really want to have him encourage and motivate our hearts to live healthier lives for him. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and offer a prayer. Father God, we just want to thank you for this opportunity to share your health message and some beautiful healthy food that you've given us. We ask that you would bless our hands, bless our time together, that it can be really enjoyable, and that you would just motivate us to have the zeal of the Lord for you and your soon coming, and to get the message out there to help other people is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
How's the volume, you guys? Are you hearing us okay?
Okay.
The way it works, I can't really move that too much closer. So anyway, I want to just have Elena share a little bit with you, because Elena, how old are you?
I am 73 years old, going on 74 in October. And I've been a vegan for about maybe 30, 35 years. And came into the truth about that long ago as well. Grew up in a home where it's a lot of fried foods and a lot of meat and a lot of milk and all that stuff. And then I became a vegan after I married an Adventist. And then the Lord just kind of walked me through phases of my life where I first was a vegetarian, and then we cut out the cheese because nothing was happening actually. And so I learned how to cook vegan from the ladies in the church. And then I opened my own restaurant for about 7 years and had a wonderful experience. I praise the Lord for giving me that child. I never had children, but he gave me Adam's Garden.
The restaurant was called Adam's Garden. And before we go any further with that, I want to show you something. Elena has a cookbook, and it's phenomenal. One of the things that we do here at the center is that we really try to focus on food that is oil-free.
Yes.
Now, typically, you guys know, I think most of you, that I am a raw chef. I'm a certified raw chef, but I also do vegan. I do use some extra virgin olive oil and some things like that in my cooking, even sesame oil. I mean, there's certain tastes and flavors that, and, but for the center here, we do oil-free cooking. Okay. And so her cookbook has predominantly oil-free recipes in here. And this is called her Adam's Garden to the 8 Essentials for Life. And so we have this book available. It's $30. And how should they get a hold of you to get this book? Maybe we can give Sandy the number and you can have that posted. I think, would that be a good idea? Okay, then we'll do that. And so I just wanted to share that because she's put a lot of effort into this beautiful cookbook, and we use a lot of the recipes here at the center.
Praise the Lord.
So you had your restaurant,
Yes.
Adam's Garden. She had a beautiful time. And
Yes. And then my husband and I, we decided that we were going to, well, the Lord decided that we were going to move out into the country. And so we did. And then, and actually it worked out very well because it was a family run restaurant. My mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, and a couple of friends. And then we decided to give up the business because they wanted to raise our rent really high. The lease was going to be too overwhelming for us, which was a blessing because then 2 years after that, we moved to Washington and my husband passed away. And so I was very grateful that I didn't have to be stuck with the lease for 7 years. It was just a blessing. And then we moved to Idaho, and a bunch of us people, and
She's been involved here at Lifetree
for 13 years now.
And she has been a total blessing here and a blessing to me. And we have a lot of fun in the kitchen.
Yes, we do.
So
yes, we do.
We put out some beautiful food. If you'd like to see pictures, I post them on my fan page, Charmaine Vierra. And I also have a private tribe for those of you that are interested in doing more intensive challenges. You want to really focus on building a healthier body, building super immunity, weight loss, and maybe dealing with some health issues that you might have that we really try to focus on supporting and encouraging you to reach your health goals. So today we have just a few recipes for you, and we're starting some things today that we're going to finish and taste tomorrow. So you got to show back up. And I always like to start out with juice because of my own health journey. And I think a lot of you that have seen me on with TerraBella have heard my story. I've had breast cancer and it's been 17 years. It's
Praise
just
the Lord.
Amazing. 17 years, a survivor of double negative breast cancer, as well as over a year ago, I had some really big health challenges with toxicity. I tell you what, I was just toxic and becoming very ill with agropesticides. I did not realize the apples I was eating were covered in chemicals. And I was eating these non-organic apples every day, you know, using 10 or more a day to juice, like I'm going to demonstrate here. And it just really took a toll on my health to the point to where I was becoming bedridden and my memory was just completely shot. But I made some changes. I did a detox, and I am organic and non-GMO. And I believe in that's important, especially nowadays. And I have some beautiful food here. I hope you can see it, but can y'all see it? But I'm going to make some things here. First, we're going to start out with a juice. I think I'll move these cabbages because we're not going to start with that. I have some beautiful food here. Is that in the picture? I think it is. So we're going to make some juice. I think juice is really important. What it does is it gives you a concentrated nutrition. You're getting those living enzymes, those nutrients, those minerals, those phytonutrients without the problem of having to digest and worry about the fiber. And so it really frees your system up to focus on healing. Look at the colors. You guys can see the colors, and you're getting all the benefits of those colors that God put in the plants that protect the plants from oxidation and plant diseases when it's on in the earth. And when we eat those colors, when we take in those colors, we assimilate the benefits. So they go to work to protect our memory, to protect our heart, to cleanse our liver, to help our eyes, to help our digestion, to give us a youthful glow. A lot of times you'll see people that juice and eat a lot of raw food have a lot of glow. That's because their skin and the plants have electrical halos of light around the plant cells that we assimilate when we take in the plant. So I'm going to make some juice, and we need a jump start anyway to get going on this cooking thing. So we're going to make ourselves some juice. All right. So this, by the way, is an omega juicer. I really love it. I had a Breville. I love that too. But my pulp, I think that blade, it dulls after a while. And my pulp was just getting so wet. You know, I decided to get an upgrade. And this is definitely an upgrade. And the pulp is much drier.
Oh, it's quieter too.
It's quiet.
Yeah, it is.
So you'll see here. So we've got some celery going in. What else do we need? You know what, sis? Maybe you can cut up that beet for me. So we've got our carrot going in. We knew we were going to have fun with this today.
This is nice.
Yeah, we're not exactly in our elements, but I've got some ginger. Okay, ginger is anti-inflammatory. So we've got a nice piece of ginger. Celery fights cancer. Celery juice, very healing. Of course, you've got your carrots, a beta carotene in here.
You want to do some of these?
Yes.
I don't know how much. That is fine.
Okay, then we have some beet tops. And sign of good digestion. Here's a little trick for y'all. After you drink beet juice or eat beets, if your urine is pink or red, or your stools, that means your digestion isn't optimal. Because if you're digesting truly all of it, you would not have the phytochemicals coming out in your stools or in your urine. So we're putting in our beet tops.
You want some more of that?
Yeah. Okay. Another thing we could have added in here, I don't have it handy right now, is an apple. You can add an apple. That would give it some sweet. That would be yummy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think to get around all this equipment to get one might be a little challenging. Unless you want to try, but I think we're good with carrots.
I think we're good. Yeah, the carrots are nice and sweet.
Okay, so I mean, think about it. If you can add a cup of juice a day, because our food nowadays is grown on soil that is devitalized. The external metabolism of our earth is so over processed, it's overworked, and we're not getting the minerals. We're not getting those vital, the dust of the earth is what we've been created of, and we're not getting those back in our food because the earth is so devitalized that we're not getting what we need. And when you don't get what you need, when you have nutritional deficiencies, and then on top of that, the toxicity, you have disease, dis-ease. Okay, so we have our juice, and it is looking beautiful. And here we go. And here you are, my dear. Oh, we didn't put a whole beet in there. Maybe we should put a little piece of beet.
We didn't even put any beet.
Yeah, we need a beet. We need a beet. Okay, so we're gonna put a couple of beets in here. Put beet top, so a couple of beets.
Did you make enough to share?
I'm sorry, this is a virtual, vicarious thing.
I'm very disappointed.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Don't throw your pulp away. It makes great crackers, and you can add some vegan mayonnaise and make a mock salmon of that. You know what we're going to need is a rag. To clean that up. Okay, so we've got some beet in there. Now compare that to a Coca-Cola. When you look at that, see that? I mean, that is light. Do you feel it? It is light. You got to feel that. Here you go. Toast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. Yum.
I love ginger.
I love the ginger.
Great.
That's it. It's the ginger. Oh. Yummy, yummy.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. That is our juice.
Okay.
There's no rhyme or rhythm to juice. Do what you have on hand. Do what tastes good. You can add apple to that, pineapple. One thing I like to do is to save my core. When I eat the pineapple, I'll save that core and you can juice it right in here. We're going to get set up for our next recipe, which is we're going to be making some kimchi. Eating your fermented foods is a good idea Sis, you know what we didn't get is a probiotic for kimchi, right? Or we're just so.
That's tomorrow.
Okay. Eating your fermented foods creates natural good gut flora. And so really important as we talk about gut health, as we talk about assimilating all the benefits of this juice, it will be due to the fact that our gut is in optimum shape, our gut microbiome is healthy, and that we're able to digest our food really well. All right, how many of you out there are familiar with kimchi? So it's that fermented, spicy, kind of sauerkraut-like, raw sauerkraut-like substance. Where's the little man? Are you all able to see me? I was looking at a man, now I'm looking at just a graphic. Is anybody there?
I see you. Looks good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Just can I just stay looking at one of you? It helps.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe mom can fix that.
Okay. Just let me look at one of you because then I'm really talking to a human and not a
There
voice.
you go. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna get started with our kimchi. Okay. All right. Kimchi is typically fermented with different vegetables in it. So not only is it cabbage, and we have red cabbage, and we have a regular green cabbage that we're using. But we're also going to put some other things into our kimchi that's going to give it some flavor. We're going to get some other fermented vegetables with it, which is really cool as well. So what we're going to be putting in our kimchi is I'm going to grate some carrot. We've got green onions. We have peppers that we're going to put in there. I'm even going to chop beet tops from those beets that we just juiced. We're going to put some of those in. And we can also grate some beets, which is pretty cool. And we also have, did I show you green beans? Green beans, garlic, and I showed you the ginger, I do believe already. So those are the things that we need for our kimchi. But before we get started adding these things, we need to prep our cabbage and get that soaking tonight. And then tomorrow you come back here and we're going to finish the kimchi, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get our cabbage ready for you. And we're going to do it really lickety-split quick in our food processor. Y'all can see this, right? Let me just move things down a little bit.
Yep, looks
Is
good.
that the blade you wanted? Okay.
So we have our Cuisinart food processor here. And I'm using this blade that's a slicing blade. And it's kind of medium sliced, not super thin.
Well, that's pretty thin. I would make it a little bit wider.
So just kind of medium thick. And so we're going to use that. You can certainly use a mandolin, but it would take a little longer. And for the sake of time, we're going to get started.
And you're going to want the big hole. Is that what you want?
That's fine. Okay, so for this, I'm going to use part of a red cabbage. About red cabbage, it has more vitamin C than an orange. So we have our red cabbage. Now we're going to do our green cabbage. So I'm going to do about half of the green cabbage as well. then you have our water ready, right? Yes. Okay, and our probiotic. So I'll let you explain what you just did with the water.
Okay, I took 4 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of salt. And we use Himalayan salt, but some people even use the kosher salt. We haven't experimented with that one though. And then what you do is you just make sure it's kind of dissolved in there. And then you just pour it in. But you want to make enough. It looks like we're going to have to make another. You want to make enough to cover the vegetables. And normally, what we forgot is a daikon radish.
The importance of doing the water and the salt is going to help this to leach out the cabbage juice in the water as well.
That's right.
And so what you're going to get is you're going to get a very kind of cooked texture to the cabbage that's nice and soft like a sauerkraut without cooking the cabbage. And so it's going to retain all of the essential nutrients because you haven't cooked the cabbage. So anytime you cook something, a plant, it's going to heat that up. It destroys vital enzymes, denatures the proteins, and you're just not getting the same quality food as you would as if it's raw. So she got a little more salt and a little more water, and we want to make sure that the whole thing is going to be covered in water. Another reason for that too, if it's not completely covered with the salted water, it could mildew, which could be a problem as well.
Okay, so there's plenty of water in this. Now what we need is a plate to cover this. Let's see, maybe this one. Yeah, it'll be big enough. I think it will. You
Hold it down.
Take a plate that's big enough to press it down is what you want to do.
To hold that cabbage under the water.
That's right. And what we normally put on here would be like a jar with water in it.
We can do that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we're putting the jar filled with a little bit of water to keep down the plate. Otherwise, it's going to float, and then the cabbage is not going to stay immersed.
So you can fill this jar with water, or if you have a mason jar in a smaller bowl, just go ahead, put it on top of the plate, and it's going to hold it down, and the water actually is coming up over the plate. So you know that you've got the cabbage covered up. So we're going to leave that overnight, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that has to sit. It's going to do its job. It's going to get that cabbage nice and soft. Then we're going to revisit this tomorrow. So be back here tomorrow so we can finish our kimchi and put the other vegetables in it. Okay, cool beans. Now we wanted to make today rather a savory day for you. And so the other thing that I prepared is some seeds. We eat a lot of salads here. Can you give me the estimate rate for this? I think it's over there. We eat a lot of salads here at Lifetree. We have them for breakfast. We have them for lunch. I mean, every meal is salads. So we like to top our salads with yummy salad toppers. And one of the things that we make here is a delicious seasoned seed. So what I have here is 2 different types of seeds. Now your seeds are going to have your good healthy fats in them. Those fats, those omega-3 fats that are good for your mental health, your mental well-being. They give you the lift. They're beneficial fats that we need. And I have pumpkin seeds, which is a good source of zinc. And I have sunflower seeds, which I think has silica in them and selenium. So those are good sources for those minerals. And what we're going to do here is we're going to season these up. And I think I'm going to make them separate batches so that we can keep them separate rather than mix them together.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get my handy dandy spatula. And I have lots of garlic here, and we really overdo the garlic here probably a lot, right?
Because we're garlic people.
We're garlic people. Those kind of people that you're around and they just have garlic stench on them, and you're like, whoa, but We love it here, so we use a lot of it in our dressings. We make a lot of sauces and dressings. And in fact, in that cookbook that I showed you, there's a lot of yummy dressings and sauces that are oil-free, guiltless. So for these seeds, I'm going to go ahead and get this garlic minced up, and I'm going to do it lickety-split because I have about 25 cloves here, and I'm going to throw it in the food processor with our S blade. This is our S blade, shaped like an S. And we're going to turn this on, and we're going to mince that. Just a quick, easy way to do it, honestly. Ooh, that smells so good. That is fire-breathing, dragging garlic. The kind of garlic that makes your eyes water. See that? You know what I'm saying? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Okay. So I'm going to take our pumpkin seeds to start. Now, these have been soaking, and you want to leave your seeds to soak at least, I would say, 4 hours. If not, leave them overnight even. You can get them soaking in the evening, come back, drain them the next day. So what does soaking do for our nuts? Well, it helps to make them more easily digestible. When you take that hard nut and you soak it and you get it to the point where it's ready to sprout, your body's going to digest that more easily. More easy. Here you are, sis. Okay, so I have our pumpkin seeds. And what I'm going to do is, we don't add any oil to this. I'm going to add tamari. Many of you that follow me, you know that I use a lot of coconut aminos here instead of, things like the tamari. But I do use the tamari from time to time. They use tamari up here, and I'm going to use some tamari to season these. You really don't need the salt if you use a tamari, honestly, if you use enough of it. And I'm pretty generous with the tamari because these are salad toppers. You're getting a few on your salad that's really going to make your salad pop in your mouth. So we've got our tamari going on there. That looks good. Remember, when you soak your seeds, you want to go ahead and drain them real well. And then I'm going to put some of our amazing luscious garlic in there. I'm going to save some for our sunflower seeds. But that's quite a bit of garlic, but that's okay because we all enjoy it up here. Maybe since you can use a little spatula and get some of that in there. Oh, okay. Another thing that I add, I have some granulated onion. We're going to put some of that in there. So these are going to be nice and kind of real seasoned, pop in your mouth. Seeds to put on your salad, on soup. There's so many different things. They're very versatile. You can do many things with them. Smoked paprika. What is the chili powder? I honestly like to put a little bit of chili powder on mine because it just makes them spicy. So that's what you can do. I'm going to put a little bit of this chili powder. It has a cumin in it. Very yummy. Okay. So these are nice and seasoned, and they smell amazing. And there you go. There you have the seeds. You see that? Those beautiful pumpkin seeds. So next, what we're going to do is I'm going to spread these out on a I had those in the oven. You do not want to put your dehydrator plastic racks and screens in the oven, but lack of space and countertops, that's what I did. So anyway, we're going to dehydrate these. So they're not going to be cooked. Again, when we eat things in their natural state raw, you're getting more of the benefit, the nutritional benefit. So I have our screens and our trays from an Excalibur dehydrator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread these out on the T-Flex sheet. And we're just going to spread those out into a thin layer. Offset spatula. That's what this is. And it's just going to spread them nice in one layer. We're going to get that going here. Okay, these are so easy to make, so delicious. They're nice to have on hand because you can always flavor things up with these. I mean, I've even ground them up and put them in loaves and made little, what did I make last with them? I made a falafel, raw falafel ball using some of the seasoned seeds that were raw. So it was all raw, but it was very, very good. So I'll let you see this. You see that? There you have our seasoned pumpkin seeds on the tray, ready to go. And the dehydrator, we're gonna put this on about 110, and these will probably take a little more than, I would say 24 hours.
Yeah.
About
overnight.
Because the reason being is when you put the Teflon sheet, when you're using that, the air doesn't circulate completely, so they take a little bit longer to dehydrate. But I like to keep things on about 110. 110 is a good temperature because then you're not cooking it. When you take it up higher than that, you essentially are doing some damage to the food. So we're going to get started next on our sunflower seeds. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with our sunflower seeds. Look at all these sunflower seeds. These are so good. Like I said, I've used them for other things. Once you've got them seasoned, you pack them in a mason jar with a lid on it so it's nice and airtight. And you can have these just on hand to use for different things: soup, salad, loaves, other recipes that might call for like some breadcrumbs or something of that nature. And you're doing something gluten-free, this is a good addition to loaves and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and add the tamari on this. And again, these are going to be so good. We're going to put our garlic, and I've got a nice load of garlic here to go on there. As I said, garlic, you know, there's so much we can do to build up our immune system just by what we put in our mouth. And consuming garlic and raw foods, juices, is an excellent way to boost your immune health. Make you less susceptible for the bugs that are going around out there, super bugs. So we can again add some onion granules to this. We can add our chili. Now you can add something else, like I have here, you know, it was good before we added some curry. We made some curry sunflower seeds. Those were pretty good. Do you think I should make curry? Make them different than the chili? Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got some curry powder. So we're going to put in the curry. And that's going to make it a real pretty yellow color too. It has a turmeric in it. That'll be very pretty. So we've got our onion, our garlic in there. Yeah. Other benefits in here, the sulforaphane in the onions and garlic are very healing because they're killing those microbials that are, you know, harmful, toxic to our bodies. So we have our curry sunflower seeds. And I'm going to get our other out of the oven. Yeah. I'm going to get our other tray, our little screen, and our Teflon sheet, and we're using that so it doesn't drip through and make a mess. And we're going to need a couple more of those, and all running good, as I can call it underneath. I'm going to have to, I guess I don't have to demonstrate. So where is, yeah, chips. Now these are going to get nice and crunchy and crispy, completely dried out. They're just lovely. I'll let y'all see that. Ta-tam! Going to get those nice and dried, put those in the dehydrator, and have them tomorrow for our salads. We're going to transition now because I am putting the seasoned seeds into the dehydrator. So I want to fill it up. It is a 9-tray dehydrator. And so we want to make sure when you're running that thing, you're spending the money on that electricity, that little fan is whipping around in that hot air, that we really fill it up and make the most out of it. So we've decided today that we're going to do some kale chips because we want everything that goes in there with these seasoned seeds to be savory. You wouldn't want to put fruit in there to dehydrate with your seasoned seeds, because that is not going to be a good flavor for your fruit with the garlic and all. So just think that way, sweet with sweet, savory with savory. So today I have on our menu, we're going to make some kale chips. So here's our beautiful kale. Now kale is just one of those, I would say, you know, the king of all greens. They say the darker the green, the better it is for you. It's more cleansing for your liver. Kale and high in calcium. And so we want to make sure we're eating our greens, and I put them in everything. I mean, you can make a smoothie, you can put them in a salad, you can dehydrate them like we're doing now. So I have these here, and we're just going to take a minute to destem them, and I wanted you all to see us step through the process. So here we go. We just hang on to the stem and yank. You want to help me, sis? Sure. I like the curly leaf rather than the flat leaf. It's going to make a nice crispy kind of a chip-like. It's good to save your stems. You know, when you're doing this raw cooking, you know, have a bowl that you set aside for all your little bits and pieces, because you can always throw those in a juice. You don't want anything to go to waste when you're dealing with all this beautiful organic food, because it can be expensive. That's why we're encouraged in the spirit of prophecy to have gardens, grow our own food. Especially, you can see that nowadays with the crisis that we're in, and that food looks like it's going to be problematic to get the kind of food that we've had in the past, the prices that we've had. So really good to have gardens. And now that we're coming up on the spring, good time to start that. You know, if your kale's a little limp, like we had this kale, it was in the refrigerator a few days, and so our purple kale got a little limp. But look at that. I just stuck it in some water a few hours ago, and it's all nice, and it's got all the turgor back in the leaf, nice and stiff again. And so that's all you got to do. Just get some cool water and give it a little plunge bath, and it'll get nice and firm again. So we're going to save those stems because I like to make juice, and it has a lot of good nutrition in those stems. All right, so now we are going to make here for you, I'm going to make the sauce. Now this sauce is going to be a little different from the sauces that I made in the past that maybe some of you have seen, because we do things a little differently at the center. We're dealing with some folks that really have some chronic conditions, and so there are some things that we've eliminated out of their diets. One of which is cashews. We don't use any cashews here, just because of the concern for any mold on the cashews. Sometimes cashews can be moldy. So just to ensure that none of the clients are getting mold, it's not something that when their immune systems are compromised, especially, that we really want to take extra care to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so instead of cashews, this is what I've done. I have almonds, and these almonds have been blanched. And all you have to do to blanch an almond is boil some water, bring it to a boil, drop those almonds in the water just for momentarily. Then you want to strain them and give them a cold bath. What happens is the skins, the outside of the almond, becomes very loose, and you can literally just slip them between your fingers and take that skin off. And then you have these beautiful white almonds that you could use instead of cashews. It's a little more labor intensive, but it's really worth it. I would say they're less acidic as well than a cashew. So as far as health benefits wise, it's going to be healthier for you. So we're going to take our cashews, and I'm doing a couple things here today. I really wanted to show them the cheese, and I think we have time. So I'm only going to use half of these
Well, you only just have 1 cup. Huh? You only need 1 cup.
For the cheese?
No, for the sauce for the kale chips. We don't have that many kale chips.
There you go. All right. I'm gonna take my smoked paprika. I have my onion. It's over there. My knife.
Try that one.
Okay, so for this recipe, I'm using some smoked paprika. I'm using lemon juice, and I'm putting in a pepper. We're not using any nutritional yeast. I know that may come to it as a shock to some of you because so many of our cookbooks have nutritional yeast. And honestly, guys, I love it, love it, love it as much as you do. I love it on popcorn. Our cheese dishes and these things do use nutritional yeast, but there are some drawbacks with that. And working here, sis, do you mind getting me some more? Working here, I'm learning new things, one of which is it is a yeast. Yeast, molds, fungus all have mycotoxins, which are toxic. It's the byproduct of the fungal metabolism. And so with your yeast, it is, even though it's not an active living yeast, it still has the mycotoxins that is concerning, especially when you have compromised immunity. So we don't use that here. I've also heard Dr. Russell Blaylock talk about nutritional yeast as being excitotoxic. So that is disconcerting. Mind you, I don't consume loads of nutritional yeast. When I've used it, it's in moderation. But some people do use nutritional yeast loads, and it's not very safe to do that, honestly. So I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I need to get a drink of water. I'm getting a little dry. Oh, what am I doing? I have my juice. Oh, that is what I needed. The ginger. Okay. Woo! That is strong juice. Wow. All right, so we got our smoked paprika. We have our almonds. A little water. Got it. Yes, thank you. That's perfect. Sure. Okay, so there is our Vitamix. I know you guys are familiar with this kitchen wonderful amazingness. Vitamix is a high-powered, high-speed food blender. And we're going to, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of the lemon juice in there. A little bit.
About what? A couple of tablespoons?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, and then I'm going to let the Vitamix do the work. I'm just rough chopping up some onions. I'm throwing in there. Also, we have our garlic. Just rough chop this up like that. That's going in our Vitamix. And we're also going to put a pepper in there. Take out the seeds here. And I have a beautiful yellow pepper. Rough chopping that up. Okay, and that's going to get blended as well. All right. The other magic to this is our smoked paprika. So our smoked paprika is really going to give this an incredible flavor. And we're sending this loving little snack off with some of our medical missionaries that are headed home tomorrow. So I'm going to put a big heaping spoonful of our smoked paprika in there. I use that much. What do you think about that?
I'll wait till when I taste it.
It's lovely, this. All right.
No salt?
Yeah, we need salt. Thank you. Where is our salt?
You know how much, or you're just eyeballing?
You guys, I actually really do have recipes, so I will share those with you. Get the exact measurements, so you're not doing a little bit, a tad of that, and a tad of this. Sometimes that's how I cook, though. Never turns out the same twice. All right, so we're going to turn on our Vitamix and get this nice and smooth. Might need our plunger for this. you guys mind if Elena steps in front of you for a minute? Because I really would prefer using gloves. I just would feel better about it. Because now I'm going to add the sauce to the kale. I'm breaking up my kale leaves. You don't have to. They are going to shrink, but we kind of want to stretch these for everybody. So I'm just going to break up the big leaves here just with my hands and some of the real humongous ones. Okay, sis, we will clear this off and bring over our tray that you have ready. Have another little sip of this. Woo, that's lovely. So I just have some gloves. You don't have to wear gloves. You're in the privacy of your own home, but I'm going to wear gloves because I'm going to be putting on this sauce and massaging it a little bit into the kale. So here we go. Our beautiful sauce. I mean, you're not going to miss the nutritional yeast. It is still amazing, but I'm not policing your kitchens. If you want to throw in a little nutritional yeast with that, that's up to you. So I'm going to pour this sauce. It's a nice thick sauce. We're going to pour this on here, and then I'm going to coat these leaves. Elena's laughing at me. Come over here, Elena. Tell them why you're laughing.
Because I never put that much in mine.
Really? Oh, I like lots of sauce on mine.
We're both different cooks. I mean, we love cooking together and stuff like that. And I'll make a whole quart of the sauce and use it for this. This is only 2 bunches of kale. And in my recipe book, it's 2 bunches of kale and you make a quart of the sauce, but you'll only use maybe half the sauce for 2 bunches of kale. 3 to 4 bunches, I believe, is in my book where you can use the whole quart.
Okay. The sauce is what makes these like amazing. It needs lots of sauce on it. Don't listen to her.
But we'll tell you tomorrow what it's going to taste like.
Yeah,
it's all good.
It's
all good.
Woo! That onion I can feel in my eyes. Okay. So we're gonna get this nice and coated. This is where you get the love on your food. Just love on it. I do love food. I'm so glad it's permissible, and we're gonna get this beautiful food in heaven. I can hardly wait. Sit down at that table with Jesus, and he's gonna gird himself, and in his mercy, he's gonna serve us the humility of God. You know, we should be serving him, but he girds himself to serve us. Beautiful. That's a beautiful visual. You know, it just kind of makes everything else, brings it into perspective, and it's like, why would we want to miss that? You know? I don't want to miss that. Do you want to miss that?
No.
Like, I want to be at that table. I want to sit next to Abraham, David, Job.
I want to work in the Lord's kitchen.
Do you think there's going to be work in the kitchen?
I don't know. I don't know. But
I don't think so. I mean, you pick it and you eat it, right? Or maybe you do some sort of prep with it. I don't
know. We're gonna find out though, aren't we?
But I love food. I love the colors. You know?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Okay.
And the Lord's blessed us with the talent of cooking. And you know what's so much fun is experimenting with different foods.
And sometimes we come out in the kitchen and we really do experiment.
Yeah, we do.
Between us both, a little bit of this, and I turn my back. She's got a little bit more of that in there. Okay, so let me show you what my nicely coated kale chips look like. Okay, these are their kale chips now. These are really gonna be good. Check it out. Check that out. See how nice and coated those are? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You don't want some little spindly amount of sauce on them. We want them nice and coated. You're gonna get your kids to love these. And so we're gonna plump these up on we're using a Teflon sheet as well, just because it's easier to clean, you know, and you don't have to dig it out of the screens.
That's right.
So I'm putting the kale chips on our Teflon sheet. And you see, I'm not pushing them down. I don't want to do that. I'm going ahead and leaving them in all their plump perfection. I actually, when I put them in the dehydrator, excuse us, when I put them in the dehydrator, I'll actually skip a row, and that leaves height.
Yes.
It leaves height so that you don't have to press them down. Don't press them down. Leave them this way because they're nice and crisp and plump, and I love it. Check it out. I mean, wow. You got to admit that is like amazing. Look at that. I know you can feel it, right? You can feel it through that. Okay. All right. So we're getting 2 trays out of here, and we had about 2 heads of kale.
Yeah.
And we used all of our sauce. So let me just clean that with the spatula, get it real good. And I think we're going to be ending right on time. Okay. I'm going to pass it over to the beautiful and lovely Elena, my sous chef. And I'm going to plump these out on this tray. So we've got 2 trays of the kale chips. And sometimes I take one that's kind of looking a little bit like it didn't get much coating on it. And I'm gonna kind of rub it around in the bowl to get the rest of that sauce out of there. So I have something special for you guys. This is like so cool. All right, Elena, how about you? Elena, come on through. I know you guys can see our animation. This is real. It is not fake, phony, put on. We get this excited in the kitchen. It's like crazy. I don't know what it is. It's like I love food. Okay, so I need the Vitamix. We're gonna make our cheese. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, it's a phenomenon. That's all I can say. It's a phenomenon. Do we have a probiotic? Yes. Okay. So this is an instant pot, and this magic. I love it. I love this thing. Okay, guess what this amazingness does? You will not believe it. It makes cheese. Did you know this thing made cheese, you guys? It does. It really does. It has a yogurt button. But if you do your nuts the right way, you can have cheese. So we're going to start it tonight. And tomorrow, you come on back here, y'all. We're going to have our cheese. So I'm going to get another swig of my nutrient-dense juice to help me finish up this class today. Woo. Whoa. I feel it. I feel the energy coming off that. That's just like, wow. Okay. Woo. All right. So we have our beautiful almonds. Now you can do this with cashews if that's what you have. But again, this is going to make a nice product here as well. Beautiful white almonds. We're going to put this in our Vitamix, and I'm going to need the plunger for this because we get it really small. You really do need the high-speed Vitamix and the plunger when you do this. So we're going to add a little bit of water, just a bit. You don't want to add too much. This is a super thick almond milk, as thick as you can get it. So that's why we need our plunger. So I'm going to need to add some more water to this because we want it thick, but we want it really smooth. kind of like a soft, it's getting
almost.
there. It's getting there. Like almost like a feta cheese. If y'all seen that for a few years, I don't know if you can remember such a thing, but I do. Y'all to see this. It's nice and creamy, and it's soft, and it's squishy, and it's nice and creamy. It's not at all gritty. We're going to add our probiotic. Now, we're adding a probiotic. The reason why is we want to be particular in the strains of bacteria that are growing in this. So we're going to add our own probiotic, and we have something here that we use. And I'll give that information to Sandy so she can share that with you and how you can get a hold of that. But this is looking amazing. You really want this as dry as possible. So we're going to add, half a teaspoon. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of the probiotic to this. And I'm going to give it a little more of a stir by blending it just another little bit. I don't like to waste a thing. Got my spatula to clean that off with. And for those of you that are familiar with the Instapot, you have your container, and we're going to go ahead and put our cheese in here. So we're going to put our nice cheese ball. See that? Now I would say to do this in the morning. That would be my best bet for y'all. It's not something you want to do overnight because I think it would sit too long. Can y'all hear me? Put this in the morning and then come back later in the day when it's done. Because if you put it in overnight, you know these Instapots stay warm. And what happens is it continues, it'll keep cooking it. And it'll dry it. It may even toast it on the bottom. So you don't want that. So you want to do this in the morning so that you can keep an eye on it. Because you want it perfect. Okay, so I'm very particular about getting every little bit of that out of there. And I will work on that when I'm off the show with you guys. But for now, we've got our cheese in our pot. And I'm going to take the spatula and just kind of spread it around on the bottom. A little bit. That's it. It doesn't need to be perfectly spread out down there because what you're doing is you're heating it under a controlled heat. And that's really what you're looking for. So we've got our cheese. We're going to put the lid on that bad boy. And then we're going to push the yogurt button. I don't have this plugged in. You want to throw me that plug so they can actually see the lights go bing, bing. All right. I want you to see all the special effects. So there it's off. And so then we're going to push the yogurt button. That's it. And now it's set. So this is going to be 9 hours on its job. When it's done and all the steams come out, that's when you want to take it off. Okay? So it's starting. There we go. Then you just walk away and leave it, and it's going to ferment under temperature, regulated temperature. We're going to come back, and tomorrow I am going to have a beautiful cheese for you, and we're going to season that cheese out. So come on over here, Elena. We just want to thank you so much for being part of our cooking at Lifetree. We've really had a great time today. We hope you have. We didn't quite get through everything. Our cookies.
Yeah.
we wanted to make cookies, but do we have time to make cookies? Okay. Okay. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and make our cookies. Let's do this. I'm gonna let the beautiful and lovely Elena lead out in this one. That's right. You should have warned me. That's okay. This is her signature recipe. That's what I'm gonna have her do.
No.
I'm going to be her sous chef. Okay.
Except I forgot those. Where's the milk?
Oh, I'll go get that. Okay, just start talking. I'll go get the milk.
Okay. So we all know that cookies are really easy to make. And this one is the oatmeal raisin cookie that's in my cookbook. Actually, it's a spin-off of Charmaine's, where she used to work before. Modern Manna. And so we've added 4 cups of oats and 2 cups of spelt flour.
2 cups spelt.
Okay. And we basically just put everything together. How much was the salt? Did you?
I don't know. Tad-nap of salt.
Okay, tad-nap. Let's have a little bit.
Tad-nap of salt. We will give you this recipe, okay?
Ooh, too much.
Too much.
Too much.
Oh.
Just okay. Yeah, maybe a half a teaspoon of salt. Salt, you don't need very much when you're making desserts. And then we've got, it looks like about it.
Don't forget cardamom coriander.
Oh yeah, it looks like we got about a cup of coconut, shredded coconut.
That's right. It was a cup of raisins.
And we're gonna do a teaspoon of the coriander. Oh, this is not my measuring teaspoon.
But
that looks good.
I'm chopping up the pecans right now.
Yeah, you can always use different nuts and even seeds if you want to. If you want to make it more like a granola bar kind of style, you could even throw in banana if you want, or apples.
We have applesauce.
Yeah, but I like the combination that we have here today.
We're gonna do applesauce in this. Is it called for?
Called for oil.
Right.
That's right. The recipe calls for oil.
Did you tell them you put a teaspoon of coriander?
Teaspoon of coriander and a teaspoon of cardamom.
Okay. Yum. That really goes well with the apple. No worries, you guys. You don't have to write it down because we're going to give you the recipe.
Is it in the cookbook?
It
Yes.
is, but we're going to give it to you anyway.
Okay.
And I'll give you my recipes. The seasoned seeds and the rest of it.
Okay.
Alrighty there.
So we're going to do some of this.
She likes to measure. I don't measure anything.
Yes.
I use a little bit of this, little bit of that. But the problem is my stuff doesn't always turn out the same. And I'm not the best baker in the universe.
Okay, I'm going to measure this way. Eyeball this. So,
but then again, I don't have to taste anything. I mean, I can see flavors in my head, It's like I can see the flavors, I can taste it. And it's like I don't need to taste it. I can okay, yeah, I'll go with that. Cardamom, coriander,
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah. And I'm going to put a whole recipe together in my head.
And I'm going to squeeze this bare until it's totally empty.
We're putting honey in this. You could use other sweeteners. Do y'all know monk fruit? You know monk fruit? For those of you that want to be sugar-free, I do sugar-free around here, so this is kind of an aberration. Like, we've got some contraband going on here. I don't know where we found that bottle of honey, but that's like, whoa. we'd be hung out by our thumbs.
We still might be. We're sneaking it in there.
Okay, here is the pecan.
I need something that's gonna get this bear out of here.
Okay, here's the pecans.
We try to melt this stuff. It's very raw honey.
I'm gonna get them. Okay, so this is monk fruit, and this is a white sugar replacer. So it doesn't have any calories to it because it's a non-sugar sweetener. And because this recipe actually called for 1 cup of sweetener, we're gonna add a little bit of the monk fruit.
Or you can even add stevia, but some people don't like the aftertaste. I'm a stevia-holic though.
I am not crazy about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. That stevia, that little aftertaste thing, I don't dig it. It just, yeah, it just has it has a funny flavor. So we're gonna put in a little monk fruit, which doesn't have a funny flavor at all.
That's all?
Huh?
It's okay. No, we'll see. No.
We'll just, it's not gonna hurt a little bit.
Okay, and if you'll pour in that milk.
Okay, we need the milk.
We're gonna put in some milk. And when we're working with it, we're gonna
This is some homemade milk I made. This has, this is a coconut oatmeal milk I made just with oats. And I put it in some water and some coconut milk and added some monk fruit to it. And there you have it. It was a nice creamy consistency, just delightful. How's that working for you? You might need some more applesauce, huh?
Yeah, I might. I don't know, because we want the cookie to be kind of like more of a cookie dough instead of cake. But it looks like, hope you folks don't mind, but I'm going to use my hands. I'm a hand person.
As long as you don't lick your fingers.
Yeah.
Because that's gross.
Oh, I know.
I don't like.
I learned a lot when I ran my restaurant. Every time I did anything,
it's taboo.
It's washing my hands constantly.
Yep. In culinary school, if we touched our hair, licked our fingers, scratched our face, back to the bathroom, they would make us wash our hands.
Why don't you put a little bit more applesauce in there? It looks like it needs a little bit.
We need a little more applesauce. Just remember, it needs to be moist enough to mix and stick together.
Okay.
But I have these two.
Oh, yeah, throw them in.
Okay, so I'm adding the pecans. I love pecans.
So we've got raisins and pecans and applesauce.
It looks lovely. Can y'all see that? Show it to
and
them.
of course,
Get their mouth watering. It's
oatmeal,
delicious.
oats are very good for you. So far that I've heard anyway, unless somebody's got
High in fiber.
a different point of view, but okay.
All right. Should we get our little cookie
scooper?
ball?
Yeah.
You're way too much fun in here. Okay, so
Okay, it
she's
feels like it's
smushed it.
gonna be okay.
To me, it resembles a little bit like granola. Okay, so I've got my scoop. Is that good, sis?
Yeah, they're gonna be small, but
It's
see,
not.
that's the thing. I don't think it gets wet enough.
Okay, do we need some more applesauce?
Milk.
I don't have it. Well, there's a little bit of coconut milk back there.
Or water. Even give me water. It's too much applesauce. Let's do some water. Right there in the glass. There's a glass right there that's got the water. Right where you got the picture. Yeah. Just give me about 1/8 of a cup.
Would quick oats have made a difference?
Probably. Yeah.
Your quick oats
Quick
would be
oats.
stickier. These are the whole oats.
Yeah, we're using whole oats, so that makes
This is
it.
3 cups.
Yes.
So we preheated our oven.
Without the plastic trays, right?
Huh?
Yes.
I took the plastic.
I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
the hider trays were not in the oven.
Okay, so you preheat your oven to 350, and we're gonna make our little balls now.
Try it.
Okay. Ooh, those were a little better, huh?
Yeah.
Can we press them down at
Yes,
all? Okay.
yes.
She says we press them down. Ooh, I just want to eat it raw. It looks amazing.
You can actually, but some people say you can't. But
They kind of resemble a little oat burger.
yeah,
Okay, these are going to be nice cookies. This is the kind of stuff that you could really involve your children with. You know, everybody's home, this whole house arrest thing, and you can get your kids in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Get them involved. Do something fun. And this is building a life skill. You're teaching your kids how to cook, getting them excited about food, about eating healthy, and seeing that you can actually make things without refined sugar and fats, you know? So take advantage of this time. Teach your kids. Get my kids' book and go through it with your kids, huh?
Yeah.
You know, teach them health.
Also, if you wanted to, on this recipe, instead of using the applesauce, instead of using the applesauce, replace it with peanut butter.
Okay.
Yeah, peanut butter will take the place of oil too. If you're a peanut butter
So we're
person,
using
or
this-
even almond butter would work.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, those look great.
These do look great. So we're gonna go ahead and put these in the oven.
Whoop.
You see that? Aren't they beautiful? We're gonna put those in the oven. That's right. Okay, here they go in the oven. And how long can we leave those in this beautiful sunshine?
12 to 15 minutes.
12 to 15 minutes in the oven. We're gonna pop those out. We're gonna have this stuff to show you tomorrow. We'll be back with Sandy and the gang at 4 tomorrow. We look forward to showing you these recipes. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.